To be able to make the different segments for the large ships, we need a small assembly station with a naval works upgrade. So we put down some foundations and put on top of that the small assembly station. In order to upgrade the small assembly station with a naval works, we come to the small assembly station and we press E to open its menu. And if we come to the right side of the menu to the upgrades panel and hover over the naval works, we can see that we need 10 rare alloys in order to upgrade our small assembly station to have a naval works. So we escape out of the menu, we grab this truck over here that has 10 rare alloys inside its inventory. We drive it up towards the small assembly station. We press E to open it up and we click on the rare alloys inside our truck. That will put it into the inventory of the small assembly station. We then escape out of the menu, hop out of our truck by pressing Q, come to the small assembly station again, press E to open it up, and to confirm our upgrade, we go to the upgrades panel and click the naval works icon. We can see that we are modifying the structure, and as soon as we've modified the structure, we can see that the model changed, that the loading area of the small assembly station also changed. And if we press E to open the menu of the small assembly station, and if we look in the production panel, we can see that we gained the naval works recipe. So those are the naval hull segments, the naval shell plating, and the naval turbine components. To produce the thermal shielding that is necessary for some of the large ship segments, we need a ammunition factory. So if we come to the ammunition factory over here and we press E to open it up, in the production panel we can see that the fourth recipe is a thermal shielding. To make thermal shielding, we need 2 construction materials and 5 assembly materials type 4. And 4 megawatts of power. Now, if we look in the stockpile of the ammunition factory, we can see that we have construction materials and assembly materials type 4. So we need to check if we have enough power to run this. So we escape out of this menu, come over the power pole over here, press E to open it. And if we look in the status panel, we can see that we are using 11 out of 16 megawatts, which gives us ample room to start the production. So we come to the ammunition factory, press Shift E to open the interaction drop-down menu, and we select the ammunition factory. In the ammunition factory, we turn on the production of the thermal shielding simply by clicking the button. When the production is finished, we can see that we gained 1 thermal shielding in the stockpile of the ammunition factory. To grab the thermal shielding, we can simply left-click on the thermal shielding. That will start the assembly, and we are now carrying it over our shoulder. So if we escape out, we can see that it is a large item. If we want to put it into a building, we can press, for instance, Shift E to open the interaction drop-down. We select our ammunition factory again. And in the actions panel, we can click the Submit a Large Item, or with the thermal shielding over our shoulder. And in the bottom left, we are close to the ammunition factory. We can simply press V, and that will submit it to the stockpile of the ammunition factory. To make the naval hull segments, we come to the small assembly station with the naval works until we see in the bottom left. Press E to use small assembly naval works. We press E to open it up, and if we come to the production panel to the naval works category and we hover over the naval hull segments, we see that we need 60 processed construction materials, 2 assembly materials type 1, 2 assembly materials type 2, 10 assembly material types 4 rare alloys, and 4 thermal shielding to make 1 naval hull segment. Now, if we look in the stockpile, we can see that we have enough materials to make the naval hull segment. So to make it, we simply left-click on the icon. That will place the model of it on the small assembly station. And if we press E to open the small assembly station again, we can see that this process will consume 2 megawatts of power. Now that the production of the naval hull segment is done, we can walk up to it, and if we press Shift E, we get the interaction drop-down menu. If we select a naval hull segment, we can see in the top right of the menu that there is an orange lock icon, which means that we can store this naval hull segment into a personal reserve stockpile at a storage depot or a seaport. Be aware that the maximum amount of ship segments that you can store in a personal stockpile is 30, and that is 10 of each. So at maximum, you can have 10 naval hull segments, 10 naval shell plating, and 10 naval turbine components in one personal stockpile. We come to the actions panel and we click the package button. Now we'll start packaging up the naval hull segment. With the naval hull segment packaged, we come to the crane over here. We press Q to hop into the crane. We aim over the naval hull segment until we get the connection icon. We left click to hoist up the naval hull segment, and we can drop it on our flatbed over here. Or if our train would have been parked here, we could have put it on the flatbed cart of the train. Come to the flatbed, we press a Q to hop into the driver's seat, and we drive off. To store our naval hull segment for later use, we can come to the storage depot over here, press a Q to hop out of our flatbed truck, come to the crane over here, press Q to hop in, right click to aim over our naval hull segment, left click to hoist it up, aim at the loading dock of the storage depot, left click to drop it on the loading dock. As soon as it hits the loading dock, it will open up the stockpile of the storage depot. We come to the actions panel and we click create reserve stockpile. We call it Frerk and we press submit. Now we have our own personal stockpile. We make sure that we have that one selected. So in the drop down menu, we make sure that we select Frerk and we come to the actions panel and we say submit loading area equipment. That will take the naval hull segment from the loading dock and into the storage depot. Now, it doesn't really show up in the stockpile here, but if we go to the shippable category over here, all the way in the end, and we click on that, we can see that we have one naval hull segment stored into this storage depot. To produce naval shell plating, we come to the small assembly station with the naval works, press E to open it up, and if we come to the production panel and the naval works category, we hover over it, we can see that we only need 2 construction materials and 1 thermal shielding. So if we look in the stockpile of the small assembly station, we can see that we have ample construction materials and thermal shielding. So to produce the naval shell plating, we simply left click on the naval shell plating, and that will start the production process. Now that the naval shell plating has been produced, we can come up to it, press Shift-T to get the interaction drop down, select naval shell plating. And if we look in the top right, we see that it is also reservable. And to package it and to transport it, we come to the actions panel, click a package button. That will package up the naval shell plating. We come to the crane over here, press a Q to hop in, right click to aim on the naval shell plating, left click to hoist it up, right click to aim at the back of the flatbed truck here, come to our driver's seat, press Q to hop in and drive off. To store the naval shell plating, we come to the storage depot over here. We park our truck over here, press Q to hop out, come to the crane over here, press Q to hop in, right click to aim at the naval shell plating, left click to hoist it up. We aim at the loading dock of the storage depot, drop down the naval shell plating, and as soon as we do that, that will open up the menu of the storage depot. In the stockpile panel, we go to the drop down. We make sure that we select our personal stockpile, Frerk, over here. We can see that our naval hull segment is already there, and now we are going to put the naval shell plating in as well. So we come to the actions panel and click submit a loading area equipment. To make the naval turbine components, we come to the small assembly station with the naval works. When we are close, we press E to open its menu. In the production panel, we come to the naval works category and hover over the naval turbine components. We can see that we need 20 assembly materials type 5 and 20 rare alloys. So if we look in our stockpile, we can see that we have 20 rare alloys and 20 assembly materials type 5. So we can simply left click on the naval turbine components, and that will start the production of the naval turbine components. One eternity later. Now that the production of the naval turbine component is ready, we can walk up to it, press Shift-T to get the interaction drop-down menu, select the naval turbine components, and in the top right, we can see that this too is reservable in a personal stockpile. So we come to the actions panel, click the package button. We come to the crane, press Q to hop into the crane, right click to aim at the naval turbine, and once we are over it, we see the connection icon. We left click to hoist it up. We aim at the back of the flatbed cart on the train over here, left click to drop it down. We hop out of our crane and we come to the locomotive, press Q to hop into the driver's seat and drive off to the storage depot. When we arrive at the depot, we stop our train so that we can reach our turbine with the crane next to the storage depot. So we come to the crane, we press Q to hop in, and we aim at the turbine. When we see the connection icon, we left click to hoist it up, and we aim at the loading dock of the storage depot. We left click to drop it down, and as soon as it drops down, it will open up the menu of the storage depot. We make sure we select our personal stockpile, and that is called FRIRK, and in the actions panel, we click submit loading area equipment. If we now go to the shippable category, we can see that we have one naval hull segment, one naval shell plating, and one naval turbine component. We can use our train to bring all the ship segments to the dry dock. So if we pull out the naval hull segment by clicking on it and then come to the actions panel and click the package loading area equipment, that will package up the hull segment. We can hoist it up and place it on our train. So we press E to open the storage depot again. We select the naval shell plating, which will assemble it on the loading dock. We press the package loading area equipment, hoist it up and place it on another flatbed cart. Press E again to pull out the naval turbine, and then we click the package loading area equipment button again, hoist up the turbine and place it on a flatbed cart. We then hop out of our crane, come to the locomotive and drive off towards the dry dock. When we arrive at the dry dock, we hop out of the locomotive and we come to one of the cranes, hop into it, and start depositing all the ship segments into the dry dock.